Welcome back, you lovely people, to another video. We're here in the F4 again, but this time in Portland International Raceway. We're about to get going, but quickly, the strength of field is 1.5k and we've qualified in fourth. This is going to be an interesting battle to see if we can get a podium position. So we're going to modify our launch slightly here. After learning from the previous races, I'm going to keep the revs slightly higher, see if we get a bit of a better launch. And we get going here now, and we get comparative launch with the cars in front of us, which I'm okay with. It seemed to have worked a bit better this time, but the car behind us got a really good launch, and he's going to be up our inside coming to turn one. I'm being a bit cautious on the brakes with cold tyres, knowing there's a car on my right side, as well as catching the car in front, which kind of held us up a little bit at the apex of the second part of that chicane. We've got a car on our right side. We're going to try and keep it on the outside and see if we can keep any kind of position, keep alongside him into the left-hander coming up, but he gets a much better run. He's got the inside line, so we have to kind of concede that position. He's going to come through this left-hander, sliding a little bit too much, but he keeps it under control, and now we're on defensive to the car behind into the hairpin. So we're going to come through the hairpin. We get a nice little drive out here. The car behind us runs wide on exit, so that allows us to maintain position of 5th place. We have dropped a position, but I'm okay with that considering the car in front, Jeffrey, got a really good launch at the start. So I'm not too concerned. 0 incident points and 0 damage. So happy enough with the start of lap 1. Tyres warming up now, so we're going to come around to finish lap number 1. We get a much better drive out of the final corner than Jeffrey does. So coming up down to start finish straight, we're going to have slipstream. We're going to be putting him under pressure, and we're going to think about moving to turn number 1. So catching him quickly, quite quickly here. We're going to slip into the inside here for turn number 1. We brake as late as we dare. A little bit too late as we lock up and just about make the corner, but a bit scrappy, allowing the car behind to go through. Jeffrey was aware of what was happening. I don't know if he locked up or if he ran wide deliberately or if he just kind of something similar happened to him as it happened to me. But we gained a position there. You see the car spun on the left side, very easily done. And so we're back up to 5th place because of that spin, but it's a net 0 loss, but we have lost a position and we gained a position quite quickly there. So trying to settle down, a bit scruffy on that first lap or two. We're on the back of Jeffrey again, so putting him under pressure. Thinking about a move into this chicane coming up on the left side. We're not alongside him, so I back out of it. Thinking better of it. It's a bit of a risky move because the hairpin's fast and it's tight. Or sorry, the chicane's fast and tight. And I knew I was going to be better out of the final corner than he has been. So we do get a slightly better run here, but not quite enough to be catching him. Tracy up ahead got not as good a run, so we're both catching Tracy in 3rd position. Coming into turn number 1 again, this time a bit cautious on the brakes, but apparently Jeffrey was even more cautious and I had to kind of go a bit, let's say, evasive and had to avoid the car spinning. So I caught the car spinning, couldn't capitalize on Tracy's mistake into turn number 1 and Jeffrey braking early, but at least we have no damage and no instant points. I'm still happy with that. I can see Tracy and Jeffrey are going to be fighting up ahead. They're kind of nose to tail right now, and I'm not far behind as we're coming into this hairpin as Jeffrey kind of tries to put a car up the inside. Another spinner there, so we gain a position. So now we're looking at 4th position where we start in the race, coming up towards the end of lap number 3. But I can see Tracy in 2nd and Jeffrey in 3rd, just up ahead. So there's a chance at a podium, if not a 2nd place. I think Kyle at this stage with a 6.2 second lead is gone. He was decently quick in qualifying, but I wasn't as quick in qualifying as he was. Not even as quick as my fastest time, but just maybe the conditions were slightly different, or maybe just lack of practice on this day. But the 2 cars ahead are squabbling coming into turn 1. I'm kind of just hanging back, seeing what happens, keeping my racing line. I tried to do a little bit of a switch back here, but I'm having to give Jeffrey space on the inside for that right-hander. He gets a much better run out than I do, so we're kind of still line astern right now. But we're all over the back of Tracy, and the 2 of us are fighting for position. I'm waiting for a mistake here, seeing if we can put Jeffrey under pressure, and hope Jeffrey can put Tracy under pressure. Maybe Jeffrey feels under pressure from us from behind and kind of sends one up the inside, makes a mistake or 2. He doesn't get the greatest run out of the hairpin here, but he's still able to keep the gap, so to speak, and Tracy gets a little bit of reprieve right now, about half a second between Jeffrey and Tracy, so a little bit of a gap, but Tracy was a little slower than the two of us as we come into the next kind of like final chicane. And Jeffrey gets a slide on, and if you look in the mirrors, you see he spins out. I got very lucky I wasn't collected there by him. I don't know, I think he got a little bit too much on the curb on the right coming through that chicane, and that loosened up the car, and he tried to catch it, but he wasn't able to catch it, and that made him spin. So now we got a bit of clean air. We're less than a second behind Tracy, and we know, generally speaking, we've been faster than Tracy. We've been right up the kind of back of Tracy and Jeff this whole time. So now that Jeff's not on the picture and we're in third position, in a podium position, we're smelling a potential second place here. So gotta keep the car steady, banging a couple of fast laps, but yeah, we're just going to see if we can probably force Tracy into a mistake, or if we can get a good run out of, let's say, out of here into the hairpin, or out of the hairpin into the chicane coming up, and then potentially make a move. But it's going to take a lap or so just to catch up to him, or Tracy. And Tracy has increased the gap just through those first couple of corners. It's up now to 0.8, but I know deep down I'm faster than Tracy, just a couple of bad corners. So coming up to finish lap number 5, we're in third position, happy enough with third, but we would love a second place. Second place would be much better than third, as Tracy goes over the curb on the exit, allowing us to start catching Tracy now down the start-finish straight. We have a bit of a slipstream going on here, not much, but we're down now to about half a second coming into turn number 1. I'm starting to brake a little earlier than I normally would, just because those earlier incidents in the race kind of made me a bit more cautious. But now Tracy did not have a good run through there, so now it's about a quarter of a second, 0.2 of a second going through this right-hander, this kind of double right-hander into the left-hander right now on the back of Tracy, putting Tracy under pressure. Tracy runs a little wide here, gets a little squirrely. I can't quite get enough momentum out, and I'm on the outside for the hairpin, trying to do a bit of a switch back here, but Tracy had a really good run through that hairpin. Gap has increased slightly by a tenth or two, but yeah, we're in slipstream. It's kind of just put Tracy under a bit of pressure, see if Tracy makes a mistake, or if we can potentially send one into turn 1. We're going to kind of put our nose on the left side in the mirrors, letting Tracy know as we're coming through the chicane that we're right there, we're right behind, be aware of us, pay more attention in your mirrors, and hopefully make Tracy be paying more attention to the mirrors rather than what's in front of them. So coming down the start-finish straight again, finished onto lap number 7. We do the same thing again. We're just kind of being a bit of a pain, moving the car around in the mirrors, trying to put Tracy off of their line and their braking points, trying to kind of make them be more aware of what's behind them so that we can capitalize on any mistakes. So right now, just we know we're being held up slightly, but unfortunately Tracy is fast in those sections where you would want to set up for a overtake. Coming through this corner, I was much quicker than Tracy, but just I couldn't capitalize on it as we come into the hairpin. Tracy's going to run really wide. I get a much better run here. Now we're going to go for the move. That was the mistake we were looking for. We're on the outside now coming up for this chicane, and Tracy's right there, falls in behind us. We're on the racing line, and I'm thinking, is Tracy going to go for a move? I leave a bit of space here. Tracy runs me onto the curb. Tracy runs wide, comes back across. I'm being very cautious here because I don't want Tracy to spin out in front of me. Get a good run out of the final corner. But something happened here, and I don't know why I thought like this, but I backed out of it. I didn't want to go into turn 1 side by side. I was thinking at the time in the race that was not a clean move by me, and I didn't want to gain a position by forcing another car off the track. In hindsight and looking at this replay afterwards, I think it was all kind of Tracy's mistake. Tracy ran wide on their own rather than me pushing them off. But I didn't feel that way at the time, so I gave the position back. I wanted to keep racing because I knew there was going to be another opportunity. There was going to be a chance for me to gain the position back in for second again. And I was kind of enjoying the racing as well. But just one of those little things where I don't want to be known as a bully or one of those people that's going to force somebody off the track, especially if I'm recording the videos and putting them up on YouTube. I want you guys to see that I like clean racing. I don't want to bully somebody off the track. So again, we're trying to keep those mirrors full of our car for Tracy and kind of force another mistake coming into the final corner. Right now, I'm still being aggressive right on the gearbox of Tracy as we finish lap number 8. Tracy's going a little bit defensive. I didn't really want to follow. I wanted to be on the outside for this first part of the chicane and be on the inside. Wasn't quite working. Tracy was pretty good under the brakes, but then would always compromise their exit, but I could not capitalize. Whatever about that slight run on the inside as we touched coming out, I was fully alongside. Tracy was just squeezed us a little bit tight there, but we keep it together. No major incident. Still no, I think there was only a 1x so far in this race just for running a little bit wide, but yeah, generally speaking that was a 0x, so no damage. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, coming into the hairpin again, just trying to set up maneuvers, trying to put Tracy under pressure. I can see that Tracy is a little weak in some areas, and I'm just waiting for that one opportunity where when Tracy makes a mistake and I can capitalize on it. Like here, Tracy goes defensive. We're going to go side by side into the chicane again, and I'm thinking to myself, do I keep it on the outside, do I not? I back out of it slightly, hoping that Tracy runs wide on the brakes and then compromises the exit out of turn number, or the final corner. Tracy does slightly, and I get back on the gearbox again, thinking about a move into turn number 1. So we're going to keep it around the outside again, try and maybe go for a switchback. Tracy brakes really late here, goes through a little deep, doesn't cuts the corner for the left-hander, and I know now, I'm thinking I just need to be really, really close to Tracy because Tracy's going to have a slowdown. Tracy didn't make the corner, kept the position, is going to have a slowdown as we're coming through these right-handers. Tracy's serving the slowdown. I'm going to try to sneak up the inside. Tracy goes a little bit defensive, and I was unsure. That almost felt like blocking. It was one of those things where it's like you're serving a slowdown, you know you're going to be extremely slow, and you park it on the apex because I'm coming up the outs on the right side. But there was a contact there. It was a very, very minor, no damage, but it was a 4x, which kind of annoyed me a little bit, but we got the move done. But it happens and you just move on. I got the position, I'm up the second. I capitalized on Tracy's mistake into turn number 1 and Tracy having that slowdown, and I was able to get the position from the slowdown. So we forced the error from just putting Tracy under pressure for lap after lap, and I was quite happy that I was able to get the move done. I would have been annoyed if I gave the position back, thinking I forced the driver off track and then have, let's say, Tracy block the apex there, and I would have not been able to get past or collided with Tracy and having ruined our race. But we got kind of lucky there. There was no major incident. Tracy did say after the race, sorry for kind of brake checking you, and said really good racing. So no harm, no foul. And I was feeling at the time maybe it was a little bit of a block, but looking back, it wasn't really that major. So yeah, happy enough at second, coming around, but kind of halfway around lap number 11. The gap to us and Tracy behind is 2.2. So yeah, just pleased so far with the racing, and pleased with the kind of putting Tracy under pressure. I was a little scruffy at the beginning, locking tires, locking the wheels coming into turn number 1, but we adjusted our braking points accordingly and was able to kind of avoid those incidents and go side by side with Tracy in a few corners. I felt quite confident racing Tracy, just one of those things where sometimes you come up against a driver where you feel really confident in the ability of the other driver, so you could race side by side, and then sometimes you come up against drivers where you've no confidence that they're going to even see you, let alone be able to race side by side with them. So lap number 11 completed, coming into turn number 1 here now, and we're a good bit behind Kyle, who's in first. We do have a back marker between us and Kyle, but we're just going to see. I think there's only like 2, maybe 3 laps left in this race, so we're just going to see if we can bring this car home now. Tracy is kind of closing the gap a little bit. It's down to now 1.7 seconds, but wasn't pushing here per se. I was kind of reining the car in a bit, thinking that it could be just bring the car home and just make sure you don't spin out, because in practice I spun out in that hairpin once or twice, and just one of those little things where just being a bit cautious in my own head as well. Lap times for this race, they were generally speaking in the kind of 1 minute 11 kind of lows to mids, so like 1 minute 11.3 to 1 minute 11.6. Not my fastest lap time by any stretch of the imagination. I did it in a race prior to this. I did something like a 1 minute 10.8 or 1 minute 10.9. So I was on average about a half a second a lap slower in this race. And that could be put down just to being behind Tracy, and now the tyres at this late stage aren't quite there as they were earlier on. So just not able to bang in those fast lap times. But happy enough with my lap times. Kind of mid 1 minute 11s is okay. I would rather be lower to like very low 1 minute 11s, but taking second place right now, having fought through the traffic and got past a few cars. So yeah, I enjoy Portland and I enjoy the F4, so a really fun kind of race. Portland's not the most complex track, but it's definitely one that's got a little points to it. As you see there, as you're coming to the hairpin, I do get a massive amount of oversteer on entry, so I was able to catch that and avoid spinning out. But yeah, coming up to finish lap number 13, very happy with this race and very happy with my racecraft. I could still adjust a few things, especially with the cold tires, but very happy with how this goes. The race previously, I started in fourth, finished in second, and this one, started in fifth, finished in second. This one, I'm starting in fourth and going to finish in second. So very happy with this race and very happy how it turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to cut to the results shortly as we bring the car around to finish up. You're going to see how that affected my I rating, how that affected my safety rating with 5 incident points. So to the results. Single split for this one. It was only 1.5k strength of field, but there was a couple of people in here with over 2k I rating. We go double green. We are on course for the end of the season promotion up to C class, and we get pushed over the 2k mark in I rating. So we're now 2k in sports car and formula car. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like and give it a comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next video.